Hey guys, yeah, I just want to make a video so you could see my goofy face and know where I'm coming from better. So, so Matt, you bring up this point about like, what about the Holocaust? How could a good God let evil happen, right? And it's a great question, but I think if you take a moment to think about your question, your answer is embedded in your question. Like, I'll approach it like this. The atheist claims there is no God, we're all products of evolution, we're all just bags of chemical reactions that's been happening for hundreds of millions of years, billions of years. And we've arrived at this point, and the only, there really is no meaning, right? There's just the survival of the fittest, sort of. We try to send on our genes to the next generation. We try to procreate, and I mean their story is very like, it's sort of without meaning. Like we maybe make our own meaning, but there's no like transcendent, eternal meaning, because the supernatural doesn't exist. Only the natural exists. But the problem in that worldview is you can't make truth claims and you can't make morality claims. You think you can because you borrow that from the Christian worldview, or any worldview that believes in a transcendent good God, right? You borrow that idea of good and evil, right? And you're mad at Hitler, like, oh, Hitler was evil. But it's like, no, he wasn't. In your worldview, no, he wasn't. He was just dancing to his DNA, right? Hitler was just determined based on genetics and circumstance to act exactly like he acted, right? And what's good and evil anyway to the person who doesn't believe in God? Where do you even get that from? It's just an illusion, right? The monkeys who believed in the fantasy of good and evil just happened to survive in larger numbers than the monkeys who didn't believe in that illusion of good and evil, right? So that's the only reason we have it in our world today. If you're an atheist, you believe, oh, well, certain tribes practice certain habits, like they didn't kill off their women and children, they were good to their neighbor, and those tribes, they survived in higher numbers than the tribes who did kill off their women and children, and who did believe that evil was virtuous, right? Or the idea of evil, doing bad and harm to others. So I stop and I ask you, like, in your worldview, why is Hitler bad? Why is mass genocide, or any of these things that we know in our hearts are clearly evil? Why are they evil? And I think as you unpack that, as I did myself, I argued with Christianity for years. I persecuted Christians and I argued with Christianity for years until I realized my arguments sucked, basically, because at the end of it, I was shooting my own ship down. I was using good and evil to try to dismantle the idea, ultimately, of good and evil. It would be like someone saying, there's no such thing as words. I'm using words to try to get rid of the idea of words, to try to defeat the argument called words. It's a self-defeating position. You can't really stand on it. There's no foundation. So that's one thing I would like you to consider, like, if there really is no such thing as God, right? A transcendent, eternal good, which by all, without God, we can't make statements like things are good and evil, because we have to have some benchmark to compare it to. That's what we're doing. When we say an action is good, what we're doing, whether we realize it or not, is we're comparing that to the ultimate good, the eternal good, the real substance of good, which is God. So I went through the same process coming into Christ. My mind needed to get to be broken of all of these fallacies that were stuck up there. But the Bible ultimately says, and it's true without a shadow of a doubt, that we all know God exists. It's written on our hearts. It's clearly seen by His divine attributes, the creation around us. We look at the creation, we see the tons of intelligence, we see that it was designed, right, with a purpose in mind. And we can't look out at the stars and at the plants and at the depths of the sea. We can't look at those evidences and not come away believing that it was created with intention and purpose and intelligence. So we are without excuse for denying the God that we ultimately know exists. It's not like we really didn't know God exists. What's happening is we're in rebellion against God. We're angry at Him. This is every Christian story. The Christian's not like, oh, I just learned about Christianity and I decided that I like that worldview. No, every Christian story is, I finally surrendered to what I knew to be true all along. There really is good, there really is evil, meaning there really is a God, there really is a good God, and there really is a departure from His ways, evil. There really is intelligent, we really were intelligently and creatively designed, meaning we ought to figure out what our Creator is like, what He's after, because that's where we'll find peace. So the Christian ultimately doesn't say, oh, I just learned about Jesus and, all of a sudden I chose this different worldview. The Christian says, I learned about Jesus and the good news of the gospel, which is the reason I was in rebellion against God. One of the reasons I was stuck in my rebellion is because I had sinned. We all sinned. We've all created, we've all done something that is totally, He's justified in condemning us because He's perfect. He's perfectly good, perfectly righteous. So when we commit an act of sin, like if you've ever told a lie, which you have, right, that makes you a liar. Me too. I'm a liar. I've told a lie. I've stolen. I've hurt people. I've done things that are wrong, that we know are wrong. We don't have to we see it in children and we say, yeah, that's wrong. What he just did is wrong. It's bad. And if you've committed one of those acts before a holy and perfect God, you're guilty, right? If someone killed your dear family member and then they went and stood before the judge and said, yeah, but I had like a really good life, like I helped a lot of people too, surely my good outweighs my bad. The judge would be a terrible judge if he said, yeah, you're right, you're acquitted of murder, go ahead, go free. No, one single act that is guilty, that is shameful, is punishable, right? A good judge would condemn that man to prison for killing your loved one. Absolutely. You just have to think about it for a moment and know that that's true. So it doesn't matter how much good you've done. It's talking about the bad you've done, the sin you've done that's clear, that's undeniable. That is why you're standing before God right now under His wrath, because He's a just God, because He is perfect. There's a consequence to evil, to departing from His ways. So the good news about Jesus is we don't have to stand before God on our own. There was a perfect person who lived, who perfectly fulfilled the law, meaning never sinned, never rebelled against God, was always perfectly in step with God, gave His life so that we could have His righteousness, so that we could stand in front of God, not on our own, but with Jesus as our representative. And human language sort of, it's the best we can do to describe what's happening in the spiritual realm with Jesus' sacrifice on the cross. But man, it's beautiful. And the more you dig into it and look at it, the more you'll see it's the wisdom of God, and it's much wiser than any of the wisdom this world has to offer. So continue, instead of looking at religion, instead of looking at people who have made mistakes, even if they were, claiming to represent God, instead of looking at all of that, because the devil is all about a classic misdirection, right? Like in magic, it's like, oh, look over here, while the thing that I'm doing is over here, or whatever. So if he can keep you focused on the church or religion, he's reaching his goal, which is keeping your eyes off of Jesus. And I just implore you to look at Jesus. That's what ultimately got me, is I could find tons of stuff wrong with people all the time. Like, oh, they're hypocrites and whatever. They're judgmental and I don't want to be around those people. Sure. Okay, you're right. But what about Jesus? Look at Jesus. Learn about Him. Learn about His life. Read what He did. Read what He taught. Read His lessons. Read what He ultimately represented. There's no way you won't fall in love with Jesus. The rock star in you will know He is the real deal. He is worth worshiping. He's not man-made religion. He is God in the flesh, and He's the wisdom of God personified, and it's beautiful. So I implore you guys, check it out. I mean, the Bible describes hell like this, and it's important to talk about because people are ignorant to where they're ultimately headed. Hell is a bottomless pit, which means you can't touch anything. You're completely surrounded by nothing. Hell is utter darkness, which means you can't see light, and you're constantly in torment. When you've been separated from God, this is what existence is like. So it's a real place that you're really headed to eternally outside of God. And He loves you, and He's letting you choose. Right? He loves you enough to go and die on a cross. So it's not like people ask, how could a good God send people to hell? The question is, that's the wrong question. How could people not choose a good God? Because God didn't create robots. He created you with a free will. He said you have choices. He wants a real love relationship. The only way you can have a real love relationship is if people choose each other. Right? We know that if a man just forces his wife to be with him, it's not a love relationship. It's not a real love relationship. But we know that if two people come together on their free will and volition and they say, yes, I'm going after you for the rest of my life because I want to and I choose to, that's love, and that's beautiful. So it's the same thing with God, right? I mean, He gave you free choices. You chose to sin. Now the devil's got you confused about who you really are. God is inviting you back to Him through the story of Jesus, through the person of Jesus, through the gospel of Jesus, and you have a choice. You've been presented with it. You know about it. What do you choose? Life or death? And oh, that you would choose life. Love you guys. Hope you watch it. Feel free to comment, ask questions, and keep seeking. I mean, it took me months, maybe even years, to surrender. And it doesn't have to. You can surrender tonight. You can pray tonight. Ask God. Open your mouth out loud, and ask God to reveal Himself to you. And then open up the Word. Read John's Gospel. Learn about Jesus. Learn who He was. Learn what He did, what He taught, and there's no question in my heart you'll be completely sold. He's worth worshiping, and He's worth following. All right, love you guys. Peace.